Hello, so, I'm back. This time I'm going over some bootlegs. I became interested in making bootlegs and recording shows probably when I was about 15. And this is one of the shows I recorded. Take out the case here. This is The Posies, live August 11th, 1993. Now this was exactly 2 years after the very first show I recorded. I recorded Zymox on their Phoenix tour in Denver at the Gothic Theater in 1991. For The Posies, I actually photocopied the shirt in my dad's office and kept shrinking it down until it was very tiny, and then cut it out, and I made cassette covers and for my shows. Just after that, this one I recorded in 1993 as well. This is Depeche Mode. You used to get these rub-ons and rub on the letters for the cassettes. I used to get all these white cassettes and then put new take the tape apart and put the tape itself inside these white cases, which were actually from my mom's choir practice cassettes. She had like 100 of these things just lying around, and I took the tapes out of a higher quality cassette case and put them into one of those, so they weren't, like the Posies one where they're these cassette cases like that. But I photocopied pictures from the tour book and then typed with a typewriter the words, and then I pasted everything together, and then I re-photocopied it and made a little cover for that one. Now this particular show I went to with a couple of girls I went to school with in high school, and we snuck into the arena at like 7 in the morning. And we ran through these corridors, and we saw into the actual arena itself, and we hid under the bleachers for the show from 7 in the morning. Well, actually, we had to leave because I actually had my ticket thumbtacked to the wall at home, and I forgot that I didn't even have my ticket, and I was freaked out, because I didn't have a ticket, and what if we were found, and I would have to go home and get it, and it was general admission. So, but anyways, we ran home and got my ticket, and ran and snuck back into the arena, and we watched them build the stage, and they did the sound check. They did a piano number. They did One Caress piano version, and then they did really it was instrumental. It was just the backing tracks for World in My Eyes, but those are the two tracks, and I recorded the sound check as well, which actually is the best bit of that whole recording. It actually doesn't sound too bad, but the sound check actually sounds pretty good. This one I recorded at a place called Gibson's, which is actually no longer. It's actually kind of a booty bar. It's called it was called Gibson's anyways. It's gone. And this was Cranes. I made a little cover from the flyer for the show. I photocopied the flyer down smaller, and I cut out some stuff, but I made, if you can see on there, little rub-ons again where it says Cranes. I named it Reverie after one of the songs from the album Loved, and side one, and I even made like my own little Dolby noise reduction logo on there. And then over here, it's actually kind of funny, we were thinking about this the other day, it's MPH, if you can see that. MPH was one of my imaginary record labels when I was 16. I used to always wish I had like my own indie record label where we made, where I had my own records and whatnot. But anyway, it was called MPH. It stood for My Penis Hurts. I think I chose that title because it was something funny that a friend of mine in high school said. His mother was yelling at us that we were being too loud playing bass in his room, and she said, turn it down. She actually kind of sounded like the mom from Big Bang Theory. You know, she's yelling for Joey to turn it down, and he said, my penis hurts, Mom! But anyway, it's kind of ridiculous. But I chose that, and also because a lot of the indie kids when I was like 16 that were into like the no-name bands were kind of snooty about it. And me, I was in it for the music and not because it was some unknown, you know, subgenre and whatnot. But more recently, I mean, I've gotten a DAT recorder and a mini disc recorder, but I've been recording a lot of other shows. You know, obviously I make full color covers. These are all my pictures from The Wedding Present live at the Cashbah in San Diego. I recorded the show last year, and I'm actually looking to go see them again next month in LA in the inside cover. I was front row for the show, and it was just amazing, and they did probably one of my top favorite albums ever in its entirety. They did Sea Monsters. So I'm actually proud of that one. That's actually a really good recording, but get these up here. These are actually the reason for showing bootlegs today. This one is The Cure, live in Loreley. And this is from the Disintegration Tour. It has a really good set list, but unfortunately, with the Kiss Me, Kiss Me, Kiss Me cover, where me and Brett were talking about the other day, all these bootlegs with, like, you know, pictures from the wrong era. But it is a bootleg, and it's just for fun. It's more for collectors. This one's cool because it's pressed on green vinyl. There's actually quite a few bootlegs are actually pressed in colored vinyl. Not all of them, but a lot of them that I have found anyway. So if anybody out there has a lot of bootlegs on vinyl, that'd be awesome if you showed them. That also, by the way, is a horrible quality recording. So is this next one. This is the Sugar Cubes live in Philadelphia. I actually got this in a trade about 15 years ago. Fat cover. 1988. It was a good year for the Sugar Cubes. Although I actually kind of preferred Stick Around for Joy, their last actual album. Just because the way it was sound, you know, it's produced by Paul Fox. And the, you know, Siggy's drumming is very kind of bright and punchy, if you will. But that also is a horrible recording. Sounds like someone had like a bad tape recorder and they were standing against the back wall of the venue talking to their friends that were around them, so I don't think it's very good. This one, however, I do think is really good. And this one is U2 live in Stockholm, Sweden, 1985. It's a little note of the thing. It says special guest Eric Clapton. However, Eric Clapton is not on this recording, and it says the pressing of this album is limited to 500 copies. Each copy is in colored vinyl. If it's not, then you know you don't have an original. I was actually lucky enough to get an original though, so I feel pretty fortunate. I got this at a record fair. This is kind of a pinkish red vinyl. And disc 2, if I can get it out, was actually pressed on yellow vinyl. So that's kind of a neat thing. You know, not only do I live for 7-inch records, I love colored vinyl. It's just so fun. I am waiting. I should have it probably in the next week or so. I got another Depeche Mode colored vinyl on its way, so for the new album. Not the new album, but the last album. Songs of the Universe. This one is U2. October 30th, 1984. This is from Rotterdam, and this is from kind of Unforgettable Fire-ish. Right at the start of the tour. This one was actually a pretty good quality. It kind of has this tone to the recording though, where it's kind of if you've ever been like in a large arena where it's oval shaped and you're at the very back, but you have like an amazing view of the stage and everything that's going on, that recording reminds me of sitting in those seats, like straight back. It's like really good sound, but it doesn't transpose on the recording. This one is U2, Another Time, Another Place. And this one is from, if none of you have ever seen this is Live in London 1981, except for the last 3 tracks were recorded in Kansas City 1981. So that one's from the US and the UK, which is pretty cool. This one is a really cool one. This one is Odds and Demos, 1978 to 1983. This has interviews from Dutch TV, but they do some of my favorite U2 songs that didn't really get, performed live, like Scarlet and Tomorrow, and Like a Song. So side 2 is really awesome on this one. However, some of these recordings from this, actually, I did notice were remastered, and they're featured on the new remastered edition of October. So it's kind of cool that the original, though, like, kind of has that quality that kind of made it unique. So a lot of bootlegs were also pressed on kind of like weird 7-inch records. Some of them colored vinyl. I've seen some for a lot of bands. The Cure, I haven't really seen any for U2, but I've seen like Sisters of Mercy and Christian Death. This one is for The Mission, and this has that Patti Smith Dancing Barefoot, and then it's got Wishing Well by Free, Give Me Shelter by the Stones, and 1969 by the Stooges, which were actually songs that The Mission actually kind of covered a lot, so they were big fans of all those bands. This one is Live at the Astoria, and it only has 3 songs. It's got Tower Strength, Dream On, and Sacrilege. Little Aerosmith cover on there. This one is a really good recording. This is one of my favorite bootlegs, I think, for The Mission. I got this one, I want to say at a record shop in Tucson called PDQ, which is unfortunately no more. And I always went in there with the intention of buying all the U2 bootlegs and all the, the Cure, Kissing Tour bootlegs that they had, but I never really got a chance to get down there very often, plus they were kind of expensive. But this one is The Mission live in Berlin. 1986, it's called And the Depression Goes On. This one has the tone kind of like it was recorded in a small club. But it's like a really cool recording. It has that kind of like vibe to it, it's like seeing like one of your favorite bands in like a really small venue. I know my brother saw The Mission and I wasn't allowed to go. I was only 14. They played at the Fox Theater in Boulder, Colorado, and it was like $14. I got the tour book for the show, but I didn't unfortunately get to go. And my brother also saw The Mission somewhere here in Arizona in 1987, before anybody really knew who they were. And my cousin was with my brother, and they asked if Wayne Hussey wanted to, or needed a place to stay, if the band needed a place to stay, and that they could crash at their like kind of crummy apartment, but I don't think it ever happened. This one is The Mission Blood Brothers. This has some demos, and live in Milan, Italy, and live at the Town and Country, 1986. So that one's kind of cool. This one is, the Live in Milan, Italy is, it's definitely a radio broadcast, and it has the, as always, Radio Italian, radio specials always have the DJ, and they talk a lot over the recording to kind of avoid bootlegging, but it's still kind of cool to have. They don't ruin the show, but it would be nice if they weren't as chatty. This one I got, in 1997, I went to San Diego to see U2 on the Pop Mart tour. And whilst I was there, I was at Off the Record, in Hillcrest, and they had this one. This is called The Healing Hour. And it's a pretty good double recording, double 12-inch recording of one of their shows. It doesn't really list where it's from, it just says London, you know, Town and Country. I'm assuming it's the full show of the bits that were on the Blood Brothers recording. So only I think 3 days after that show is when this one was. So they played, you know, there a few times. These are actually a part of a series. One of them's called Hurricane. And they're double vinyl. They're not that great of recordings. They're, you know, kind of bad tape recorder, you know. But they say fill in the blank on the back, so it was almost, you know, they're kind of leaving it up to you to write the names of the songs. I've never found one where someone actually did write the names of the song. I have 2 of these for this one, and the one thing that was cool about that one, it actually came with this, which was a catalog, which, you know, came with, you know, other bands like, you know, Bruce Springsteen, The Cult, you know, the Sisters of Mercy and The Cure, Joy Division. Some pretty cool stuff on those. And then there's another one called Wasteland. And it's also a double 12-inch, but unfortunately this, like a Hurricane one, I believe I got that one in, I want to say I got it at a record shop in Las Vegas when I went to see, I think, Morrissey with a band called Elka. For anyone who remembers Elka, they kind of came and went, and they were actually a pretty cool band. But Wasteland, and there's actually another one, and it's called Sacrilege, and I thought I had it, so it must be at my brother's house for some reason, or, you know, maybe my cousin stole it whilst I was living with him. But those are some of my bootlegs on vinyl. And I hope some of you out there have some to show as well. I know Brett has quite a few YouTube boots on vinyl, and so maybe he'll show his someday soon. So if you have some, I hope you show yours. So thank you for watching.